All right, so on this problem, we are going to use long division, and we're supposed to be showing the remainder when we solve the problem. So I'm going to start by writing my long division sign. So this part here goes on the outside, so x squared minus 3x plus 1. And then this part goes on the inside. You got to remember that we have a 0x cubed in there because the 0 is missing. So 5x to the 4th plus 0x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. So we ask ourselves, what times x squared is 5x to the 4th? And we get 5x squared. We're going to distribute that through those three terms. So 5x squared times x squared is 5x to the 4th. 5x squared times negative 3x, it's negative 15x cubed. Sorry, it's not wanting to write the cubed. 5x squared times 1 is 5x squared. All right, then we need to switch our signs because what we're really doing here is subtracting. So we're going to, and subtracting would mean I distribute a negative through, so we're switching the signs. The 5x to the 4th cancel. 0x cubed plus 15x cubed is 15x cubed. 3x squared minus 5x squared is negative 2x squared. And then we want to drop down this 2x. Then I ask myself, what times x squared is 15x cubed? So that would be 15x squared. We distribute that through. 15x squared times x squared would be 15x cubed. 15x squared times negative 3 would be negative 45x squared. 15x squared times 1 would be 15x squared. I feel like I did something wrong. I'm sorry. All right, it should just be 15x, not 15x squared. So let's try that again. 15x times x squared is 15x cubed. 15x times negative 3x is negative 45x squared. 15x times 1 is only 15x. Then I am going to switch my signs. And 15x cubed minus 15x cubed is 0. Negative 2x squared and 45x squared is 43x squared. And then, nope, yep, I'm fine. Okay, then 2x minus 15x is negative 13x, and then I got to drop down this minus 6. Then I ask myself, what times x squared is 43x squared? So we would write 43. 43 times x squared is 43x squared. 43 times negative 3x is... is negative 129x. And 43 times 1 would be 43. And again, I need to switch all of my signs. So minus, plus, minus. 43x squared minus 43x squared is 0. Negative 13x and 129 is 116x. And then 43... and negative 43 and negative 6 is negative 49. Technically, this is all you need to type in for the test. The official way we would write it would be plus 116x minus 49 over x squared minus 3x plus 1. All right. We did number 2 in class, so we're going to go ahead and do number 3. Number 3 says we have to factor, and we notice we have to do greatest common factor first, but that's always the first thing that we look for. So the first thing I see is that I can divide it by 4, so 4 gets pulled out, and I'm left with x squared minus 16. I notice that that's a binomial, and I look at it, and it has square terms, so that means it's a difference of squares. So the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 16 is 4. I make 1 a plus and 1 a minus. I'm going to factor 4 as well. Again, I'm looking for the greatest common factor. It looks like 4 divides everything, and I've got an x squared and everything, so I'm going to pull that out. So when I divide 4x to the 4th by 4x squared, I get x squared. When I divide it into 20, x cubed, I get negative 5x. And 56 divided by 4 is negative 14, and the x squared got pulled out. This is a trinomial, so since I've got a trinomial, I better try my magic x. So I need two numbers that multiply to negative 14 and add to negative 5. So negative 7 and 2. I have to remember to drop this. It's still part of one of the factors, so I have to have that to be factored completely. And then I write x minus 7 times x plus 2. And you could write this in any order. If it marks you wrong on the first try, go ahead and try it again. It will give you, it's just because of the order I probably typed it. I didn't type in all the possibilities on the assignment. All right. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm doing, keep the ones that we need done here. Not that, this. 2, 9, 11. So I can skip 9 and 11. All right. Okay. So number 5, we have to factor again, and it's in the section where it's talking about factoring sum and difference of cubes. So I look at, first of all, I count how many terms, and there are 2 terms. Then I just have to decide if they're squares or cubes. Well, those are definitely both cube numbers, and it's a cube exponent. So I have to just switch it to a binomial times a trinomial. Whatever sign is first, that's what I start with. I know my last sign is always plus, and I can only have one minus sign. So the pattern is either minus plus plus or plus minus plus. Now I take the cubed root of 343x cubed. I've made it messy here, so it's nicer on the test. So that means I've got 7x. And then I take the cubed root of 1,000, and that would be 10. And I ignore my original, and I just work with this. I square the 7x, and I get 49x squared. I square the 10, I ignore the signs, square the 10, and I get 100. And then I ignore the signs and multiply those together for the middle, and I get 70x. This piece back here will not be factorable, so that's as much as we can factor. All right, we're now factoring by grouping. We're going to look for a greatest common factor first. Doesn't look like we have one, so I'm going to kind of split it into 2 groups here. In this first group, I look for a greatest common factor there. I see 3x squared divides both parts, so I divide that out. When I take it out, I'm left with 3x plus 1. Because that's leading with a negative right there, I'm going to pull a negative 4 out, and I'm left with 3x plus 1 again. So now I have an ugly greatest common factor. When I have that, I bring it out, and I only write it down one time. So 3x plus 1. And then I write down everything else that I still have there. 3x squared minus 4. I do need to check this piece out. Look and see if they're square terms. 3 is not a square term, so that's it. This is as far as it goes. All right, we need to simplify the expression. So I'm going to start by looking for greatest common factors if I've got them, and then factor anything else. So I'm looking at this right here, and I see a greatest common factor of 10. I'm going to pull that out. When I pull that out, I'm left with x plus 1. I'm going to go here. I see a greatest common factor of 3x squared. And when I divide that out, I'm left with x minus 5. The x plus 1 just gets to be x plus 1. And then I look here, and I see another greatest common factor of 3x squared. When I divide that out of there, I would get x plus 5. Now I'm going to see what cancels. The x plus 1s cancel. The x plus 3s cancel. So we're left with 10 times x minus 5 over x plus 5. All right, this time we have a division sign. So before I actually do anything, I have to take the second expression, and I'm going to flip it and change the reciprocal and switch to multiplication. So 5x squared plus 10x over x minus 9. All right, so the 7 is just going to be a 7. I'm going to look at this, and I am going to take out, this is a plus sign, and this was a 10. I'm going to take out the greatest common factor, which looks like a 5x. And then when I divide that out, I'm left with x plus 2. I'm going to factor this one here. It looks like my greatest common factor, again, is 5x. And then I am left with x plus 2 again. And then I just have x minus 9. Then I'm going to see what matches so I can cross it out. So 5x matches, and x plus 2 matches. So I'm left with 7 over x minus 9. All right, 9's in the other video. So we're going to do 10, and that's it. Okay, so last one's 10. I need to add or subtract, so the very first thing I look for is to see if I have a common denominator. Sorry. Okay, let's grab a pen. All right, and you'll notice that that denominator is the same, so I can literally write it over. I know that's my common denominator. I don't need to do any factoring. And they both have the common denominator, so I'm just going to write x plus 3, but then when I write this one down, I'm going to distribute a negative in, so negative x plus 2. Then I notice that I'm combining like terms, and I have x, 1x minus 1x is going to go away, and then I'm going to put together 3 plus 2, which is 5, over 30x minus 6. And I would check that denominator to see if it factors. I could take out a 6, but it wouldn't cancel anything, so I'm just going to leave it.